Thank you so very much. Thank you, Leslie. I hope you can hear me when I say I give thanks for you and your musical gifts to this moment right now and tuning into what needed to be sung and played, and this piece. And as you highlighted earlier, peace, not a piece of music, but P-E-A-C-E, this piece. And so let us now, as we go further into this moment, we avail ourselves of any misgivings, of any doubts, of any worries or any despair that has been plaguing our hearts for too long. And let us really be in this cave experience. Remember, my friends, we only took a week off. I hope you have not forgotten that we have been in the cave. And we have been churning and burning in this cave with what? With God, whatever you call God, with love, with Goddess, all the many names. We have been churning and burning with the Spirit. And this change that Leslie just sung about, this change that is happening, that is before us. There's something I want to place just so before we leave this cave, before this change. I want to ask you something. This is a test. Are you ready to dream? And are you someone that supports others' dreams? This is very important. It is important, my friends, to come back to our dreams and to be dreamers. And I'm not saying we rest there wholly in the sense that we never move from a place of dreaming. I'm not saying we never move into action. What I'm saying is that if we do not dream bigger than we ever have, we will keep on getting what we are getting. Look, we have been in a class called Violence 101 since the day that we were born. Sorry to say it. I know it's a spiritual service. Sometimes people don't want to hear about violence when they come into an environment such as this. But let us be real in this new year, in this new beginning, that in fact, we have been in a class called Violence 101. We have been socialized in a myriad of form of violence. We have been inflicted upon in this violence. We've experienced it. And yes, if we're really honest, we have perpetrated in some way. Maybe it's upon ourselves. Maybe it's upon a community. And Manny, please put the definition of violence when you can in the chat. Please, if you can. Violence is not only physical force. Violence is emotional degradation. It's any time there's a domination or a destruction or a destroying of others through various means and ways. And so we have all experienced violence. And what am I saying? Okay. Violence degrades us and it negates our dreams. It negates our ability to dream. It negates our dreaming. And from that place, we no longer know how to support someone else's dreams. We no longer know how to come alongside somebody and amplify their dreams. And maybe we don't even have the wherewithal because of the violence that we have endured to come alongside a community and reach for their dreams and see their dreams and work for their dreams. Dreaming is necessary. When we dream, get this, we are closest to the divine. When we say, and if there's nothing you hear this evening, hear this, please. When we say yes to our dreams, when you support someone else's dream, when you support a community's dream for justice, for transformation, for positive peace, we begin to create the collective dream. That's how important. We think sometimes we're dreaming for peace and we're working for peace. But if we're really honest, there is a wall and there is some kind of line that sometimes comes in that you just can't cross. See, we don't want any walls here. We don't want any lines. We want to vision and dream bigger than we ever have before. Amen? Amen. So in this cave, there are dreams. There are your dreams. There are the dreams in the collective. There are dreams for communities that often are getting their dreams in this cave. Before we are able to leave it, there is a test, and that is, are you going to dream? And are you going to be someone that supports others' dreams? It's important to analyze. We went through the macro just a wee bit around the violence. We could go more into the structures and the systems and the institutions that negate and degrade our dreams. We could do more of that, but prayerfully you get it. You get where I was going and you can feel it. I want to take us into the micro now, into the micro. There are reasons why people cannot show up for others' dreams. And I want to speak to you right now. I want to speak right to your hearts that for those of you that have had a dream and you have not felt supported, and you maybe have felt ostracized, and you maybe have felt laughed at, or maybe you have felt totally alone in that dream. Often people just think, well, they're just mean, you know, oh, that person was just mean to me. We have to actually analyze this. It's very important. I'm going to go over 3 reasons why people often, and maybe that person has been you have not supported someone's dream, but why these dreams aren't supported and therefore why people stop dreaming. The first reason is this. Number 1, capacity. I'll give you the 3 reasons first, actually. Capacity, envy, and grief. These are 3 things on a micro level now that negate people's experience or ability, I should say, to dream and to support others in their dreaming. And so if you have had that experience where you have not felt seen or heard or supported, it's often not because someone is intentionally doing something to you, is that they do not have the capacity to see you and to support you. I'm going to take you back. Let's go. I was 27 going on 28. And I remember receiving my dream through a call to ministry. And some of you know this story very, very well, but it's worth telling again. It's worth repeating for this evening. And that is, I went to Carl's Jr., like you do on your birthday at 3 a.m. And I went through the drive-through, and at the drive-through window was a man that appeared to be experiencing homelessness. And we began to talk. And he asked if I had a cigarette. I was a fiend of a smoker in those days. And I was smoking, but I didn't have a pack with me. And I said, I'm sorry, I left my pack at home, man. And we continued to talk. And he asked me if I wanted to get high. And for some reason, I broke my anonymity, as it is called, in 12th step. And I said, oh, no, I'm clean and sober, actually. And from there, his face shifted. Because I said those words, and he got very honest with me. And he said, this is killing me. It's killing me. And then he said, I haven't seen my wife and my kid in 10 years. And he went on to tell me about his life. And eventually it led up to, I used to be somebody. I used to be somebody. And I said, you still are. And I was sort of feebly attempting to try and say something right, or bring some hope or something. And all I could think of was asking him his name, which people always feel seen. If you know the name, you begin to form a more connection between. And I said, please, just don't give up. There's always hope. Just don't give up. There's always hope. And with that, eventually my food came and I drove off. And what I experienced after that was a dream came in. I was wide awake. And that dream was that I would speak and that I would write, that there had been a myriad of things that had happened in my life, some fantastic, a lot of violence prior. And that from that place, I would get to speak and write. I was very excited about this for a few hours. And after a few hours, after I woke up, actually in the morning, all of the doubt, all of the who do you think you are, all of the fear came in. And for those of you that don't know me, that might be surprising, but I was still very riddled with fear and doubt. And I got scared. I got scared. It's interesting because, and I'm sure you've experienced this, if you have a doubt or some place of misgiving about yourself, what generally happens, you begin to attract other folks that will mirror that doubt to you and for you. So you can A, either work it through, or B, just keep repeating it and repeating it over and over again. Prayerfully, you'll work through it, yes? So that's what happened. That's what happened. I had this big dream come in, this gargantuan dream that was so exciting. And I would tell people and I would be scared. I had not stepped in. I had not gone into high resolve of this dream yet. And so people would mirror my own doubt and my fear, and sometimes laugh, sometimes actually laugh, or sometimes say, who do you think you are for this dream that you have? I wish it's one of those, I wish I would have known then what I know now. But thankfully and prayerfully, I've learned some things. And that was the capacity. There's capacity, there's envy, and there's also, I think, the biggest culprit, and that is grief. And so when people have, and if this is you, and you have not lost your dream, or whatever, and whatever that might be, know this: people only have a certain capacity to hold and be present for you. And it's very important. That's one of the reasons why we created the Revolution of Love. That's one of the reasons why we do these services, is to really continue to ignite you, to be that person, to show up for yourself and believe in your dreams, but also alongside somebody else and support them. That's what this hope cycle is about. That's why there's spiritual tools given to you to increase your capacity, to increase your capacity. So that first element of why someone may not be able to show up for you, it is about capacity. And the antidote to that is presence. is just stopping. And I talked about this weeks back in the art of pause, and I said, look, practice, utilize your spiritual tools, get a spiritual toolkit. You will be more present to people. See, often life is going so fast. Life is going so very fast. And what happens is we don't actually show up for people in the way that they need. We might show up for people in the way that we need. So this first thing, my friends, about dreams is really being present. If you're one that struggles with capacity and you feel you are maxed out, then that means you need to increase your spiritual toolkit. That means you need to increase your spiritual capacity and be present to people. That is the first thing. That is the first thing. So for me, for example, I needed to find folks that could hold this dream, that could hold that space for me. And prayerfully, after this big moment at Carl's Jr., I started finding teachers and mentors and counselors that could hold that space for me. Amen. Amen. Now, one thing I have to say is that I remember during that time, I thought, I think there needs to be a community that really gets this, because I didn't hear about it when I was going to different spiritual communities. I didn't hear this kind of thing. And so again, that is part of why Revolution of Love was created, was to talk about these things and was to abolish the next thing, was to increase the capacity, but to abolish the next thing. And that is number two, this ugly culprit, that is envy. Now, some of you may know exactly what I mean. You may have been on the receiving end of envy. And now envy is different than jealousy. Jealousy is not it's not as harmful. Envy is extremely destructive energy and force. And those of you, look, your bright shining lights. Those of you that have been on the receiving end of envy, you know how bad it feels, and you know how it will negate your dreams. And left unattended, one begins to become smaller and smaller and smaller. And so tonight I'm telling you, you must not go into that, take in that envy. You must not internalize it, and you must not do it. And so how do we do that? The technique, those of you that have been coming for a while now, the para technique, the first step in the para technique is to remember who you are. I when I heard Leslie singing about coming home tonight, it's in the same vein of that. Remembering who you are is coming home to yourself, to your community, a community. See, when we know who we are, we will not project what we think we don't have onto someone else. See, that's where envy comes in. We begin to project and say, oh, that person has this and I don't have it. And then the envy comes in. And you know what? So what if you don't have it? So what if you don't have that gift or that blessing that so-and-so over here has? Because you know why? You have something else maybe. Just maybe you have X, Y, or Z over here that you need to cultivate, that you need to nurture. Is something that I know all of us have experienced. We've all been on the receiving end of. It negates our dreams. And it also is something that, if we're honest, we've all done. And it's really icky. And it's really, let's just say it like this, it's not spiritual. Nah, it's not. And so it's going to take some bravery as you go through this process of analysis. New content. So please bear with me. This is all new content. We started talking about capacity and the ability for folks to be present and really hold the space for your dreams. But that is almost like, see, imagine it, that's one layer. When we go underneath another layer, the next layer is this layer of envy. And I want us to really be so bold and brave where we think, where have I been envious in my life? And where have I stomped all over someone's dreams? Instead of going, wow, what an amazing gift you have. Oh my gosh. That is just, that is an amazing dream. That is an amazing dream. And thank you so much. I am blessed to hear it. I am blessed to know you. So just as the antidote for increasing capacity was presence, the antidote for envy is celebration. We celebrate people, and it's easier to celebrate people when you know who you are, or when you come home. Okay, I'm getting into it now. I'm feeling it now. Sorry, it took me a little bit. This is, the energy's wild tonight, I gotta say. So it is easier, I'm going to say that again, just so we're crystal clear. It is easier to celebrate people, including yourself and your dreams, when you know who you are. Who am I? I am made in the image of love. I'm made in the image of the goddess. I'm made in the image of God. You fill in the blank. You fill however you say it. That none of that might have worked for you. I remember Melanie, when she spoke at service during the summer and we were going over this, said, I'm someone's miracle. That is who she is. That is her truth. So however it fits for you, of knowing who you are and remembering who you are, you sink into it. You cement it down, you solidify it, because then you know what? It won't matter when you see someone that has a gift that you don't have. You will be able to go, oh, the joy of that, the celebration, and I get to see that. Oh, what a joy it is to amplify people's gifts and voices. One of the reasons we say we see you and we hear you and we love you, because I know so many people, maybe so many of you, have gone through life not feeling celebrated, not feeling seen, not feeling heard, and therefore really not feeling loved from the highest place. So what do we have? We have increasing our capacity by being present. So that way, yes, we can dream and we can support others in their dreams. We have tuning in to who we are. That way we can celebrate and not bring that ugly culprit of envy into our relationships, including ourselves, and pushing that out and projecting that out. And now there's a third thing that this is a big one. This is a big one. And remember, I said these are like layers. So in a way, it's like there was the kind of the cursory layer that's capacity, and then, okay, we're getting a little deeper, and now deeper still. It's grief. Grief. So when people stopped dreaming a long time ago, and I'm looking at a cabinet right here, and they pushed their dreams back, or maybe they were laughed at, or maybe they were ostracized and just not cared about, not seen, not heard. They pushed those dreams away. And there's real acute grief that comes from that. And so it becomes very hard, yes, to find one's way back to dreams and to be able to come alongside someone and support them in their dreams, or even get out there. And as Manny was talking about, these piece around activism in this ministry, in this movement that is Revolution of Love, to even see someone else's, a community's dream and vision of where they need to go and grow, makes it damn near impossible. It really does. It makes it damn near impossible, because why? There is a deficit of dreams. And so if that is you, if you are feeling that, and this grief and this sorrow and this maybe regret or remorse. In fact, let me tell you a story really quickly. I'm going to tell you this story so you can fill this out a little bit. A year before my Carl's Jr. moment, something happened. And I was in Laguna Beach with my then partner. And it was it was for my birthday, and it was a hard time because I was realizing I wasn't going to be a famous musician. And that was all I had done. I had been started on classical piano. And when I got my life on track and stopped all the addictive cycles and crazy making stuff, I realized that A, my time was done, and B, and this was probably most important, I didn't want it anymore, actually. I didn't really want the music anymore, and I didn't know what to do. And so this day in Laguna Beach on my birthday, when I turned 27, I just felt such a grief. I did not know where my dream was gonna come. I did not know what my dream was. I didn't know what to do. And for those of you that have experienced that feeling where you're looking back on your life, or maybe something that even just happened however many weeks back, you know, it's a tragic feeling. The way around that I can tell you is compassion. The antidote to this grief is compassion. And compassion is not something in this culture that we focus very well on. It isn't. You know, this culture, white supremacy culture, this country in particular, I'll stick with this country, that is the US of A, is about you pull yourself up by the bootstraps, you work hard, you work harder. It's all about individualism. It's all about go, 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 go. And the patriarchy and the heteronormative and all of these things. Again, this is all violence that is degrading. You know this. You know this. And so the way to counter this, my friends, is to push back on that and to call in the compassion. And the compassion, oh, it's a very different energy. In fact, this is more of where I'm at tonight. As I am speaking to you, I pray that you can feel the love that I have for you. And I mean that in a different way than maybe some people might want to hear it, or people that you know that might say it. This is a love that is from the highest place. This is a love with no conditions. And that kind of love comes from compassion. Compassion. So how do we enter this state of compassion? You listen to those places within you that have been hurt and forlorn. You listen to those youngest parts of yourself that need healing. And the more you go there, and the more you listen and you don't judge, the more you love on those places and those spaces, little by little, maybe those dreams, they start coming out of the cabinet, of the drawer that was so pushed away. See, my friends, we want you here at the Revolution of Love. We want you to be so effervescent in compassion and love. Why? Because we need to change the world. I said it. I know it's bold. I know it sounds utopian and idealistic. I don't care. We need to change the world. So what does that mean? That means we all need to step it up. And that's going to mean turning it up and becoming the dreamers, becoming the architects of peace for ourselves and for all those we meet, and for the communities that need us, for your communities, for our communities. And remember what I said, please. Let's bring it home now. That every time we say yes to our dream or our dreams, we support someone's dream or a community's dream, we begin to create the collective dream. And I hope that my internet is still working because that is the culmination of this talk, my friends. Be brave and be bold and be earnest in your self-reflection process. Where are you at capacity? Are you present? Where are you with envy? Are you dishing that out towards people? Where are you with grief? Have compassion for yourself. And let us have compassion for you here. Don't hide out. Maybe don't wait to reach out to us between Sundays. How can we serve you and how can we love you? Every time, I'm going to say this again, every time we say yes to our dreams, every time we support someone in their dream or in a community's dream, we begin to create the collective dream. And when we dream, we are closest to the divine. Next week, we will leave the cave if we are ready, if we are truly solidified and have passed this initiation and saying, yes, I am someone who dreams, and I will never stop. And I will never stop supporting people and communities in their dreams, because I believe in the collective dream. Believe, my friends, believe. And so it is. Welcome to the revolution of love. The time is now. Let us go into prayer. And please do put those prayer requests in the chat, knowing that that this is on Facebook. So I would suggest only putting first names only. And let us fall into prayer. Oh, Holy One, we are present. I'm asking for folks right now to be more present than they have ever been, and that they carry this presence with them in the coming moments and the coming days. I pray that people are able to increase their capacity with spiritual tools that you have given us.